Hey guys, so last Friday, from whenever you're hearing this, about a week ago from when I'm recording this, my wife, Summer, she got a blood clot in her brain and it made her have a seizure. And she's been in the ICU since then. And it's super duper scary. And because of that, I have a lot more responsibilities, taking care of the kids, taking care of Summer, those sorts of things. So I'm going to be taking it easy with the podcast for a while. So I won't be joining the group tonight on this episode of Persona. I will probably take a week or so off for Book Club no Kuseki. I know it's been a while since we had an episode come up. We were supposed to record it a couple of nights ago, but I do not really have the capacity to focus on a video game. Things are going much better now, a week after, than they were last week. So, like, she's probably going to be coming home from the ICU in a couple of days. The main thing that's affected is her speech center, so she can walk around and she can feed herself, and she has all of her like thoughts and personality that her word choice and ability to understand and stuff like that is a little not up to snuff. So I will have a more formal GoFundMe that I'll be plugging on the podcast as soon as I know how much all this is going to cost me. But in the meantime, if you feel like helping out, all the Ko-Fi stuff has always all gone straight to me because I'm the one that does all the work on the back end, and so I do the most work. I get the cut. So if you want to support me, you can go and make donations on the Ko-Fi and commission episodes. I promise I'll make good on them. You can just make lump sum donations. You can buy merch, whatever you do if you feel like helping out, or if you want to wait for the GoFundMe to put everything there, you can. But I'll be taking it easy on the main podcast, and then we're taking a small hiatus on the sub podcast till I can come around and finish out those games. So I will talk to all of you soon, I hope. With how good Summer is, like with her words, like how over the last couple of days, I feel once she's home and like the kids go to bed, she will be fine, and I will probably still be able to pick the podcast up, but I don't know until that happens. So for now, it's a small hiatus, but I promise I'm still around, and I promise we're going to keep trucking along and doing the thing. So thanks to all of you for your support over the years. I really appreciate it. I promise to talk to you soon. And now, without further ado, play them off, Falcom JDK Band.
Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am David Bernard Houck.
Oh, I'm Maddie Grace Wevin.
And I'm Trish.
And as you just heard, Sam will not be joining us for this episode. He'll be back soon. We'll figure it out. But
yeah, he's going through some quite possibly the roughest shit I can imagine. I think it's the roughest shit anyone's been through on this podcast, probably. I can't remember all. I mean, we've all been through some rough shit, but it's some rough shit.
It is some rough shit.
We may or may not be like splicing in something with him talking.
They just heard a thing where he explains what's going on and what our plans are and stuff.
There we go. So you know this. So y'all know what's going on. And shout out to Sam. We love him, and it sucks when someone's going through something that you really can't do anything to help, you know? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's various things, like, financially and stuff, but, like, you know.
I get what you mean.
We can't make the medical problem not happen anymore. You know, we're not doctors. The main issue is something that Sam is just in it on. They're in it on their own, the two of them, besides us sending our love and support, so.
We're podcasters. We can't do anything to help anyone.
Exactly. And also, I mean, we don't even live in the same place as him anymore. So, yeah. Whatever. Anyway, whatever. That's depressing. We should probably record a podcast.
Yes. So, another point of order is that you may have noticed we did not do an episode on the Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei OVA. I watched it and I was like, that was kind of bad and didn't make sense, and I don't really have anything to say about it. So I got on the host chat in the Discord and was like, do y'all just want to not do the Megami Tensei OVA? Because I don't. And everyone was like, yeah.
Yeah, it makes very little sense. It's extremely misogynistic. It has kind of bland visual, like, design, which is weird from fucking Shin Megami Tensei to have like banal character designs and production design. Although I thought it ruled, despite everything I just said. But yeah, it ruled in the purely like, well, that was a nice way to spend 45 minutes. What else is on TV?
I absolutely know what you mean. I have many things I feel that way about. This is not one of them. I felt very like checking my watch through a lot of it and just had this overwhelming feeling of like, I have no idea what I will say on the podcast about this. Unlike what we actually are here to talk about this week.
That's right.
Before we do that, we should do something else.
Yes, now that we've got all that out of the way, how have y'all been since last we spoke?
Well, I'm in a different time zone because I'm in Canada. I'm currently in the bedroom of one of my girlfriends, the one who frequently is in the audience of our recordings. She still is, even if she's not showing up on the server because she's right over here. She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous and beautiful. And I've been so happy today after spending basically a full day of flights and layovers to get here. I'm just ecstatic, and it's been wonderful, and I'm so happy to have this little vacation to spend with her.
Hell yeah. No, that's
awesome.
Yeah, no notes. That's dope as hell. I've had a whole lot happen. Remember a bit ago when I said I had a vacation and it was a good vacation, and also there was some news that I wanted to share, but it was tentative news. I have very bad news for everybody. I have to hang up my hat as the like hating on Polly just as a bit for no reason, because I unfortunately have another girlfriend.
Congratulations!
I'm not actually a Polly hater. I've always just been like one of those, like that's not for me. Why would you want to have more than one partner? That sounds like too much work, and I'm lazy, like that kind of thing. Anyway, nope, never mind. Can't even do it as a bit anymore because I am one of those weird sickos. And unfortunately, it is in fact it is also long distance, which mostly just means that I feel pain in my heart most of the time, which is great.
I completely get you. That's the situation with all of my partners.
Right, to you that's normal, right? But to me, this is stupid. Why would anyone want to do this? I've only been able to do this and I've only had any success at doing this in the last year, basically. Oh, okay. It's very new to me. But yeah, going back with what you said, I used to think the same thing about, like, I don't know how anyone can do that. I'm too lazy for that. But I am very lazy. And I have 3 girlfriends and a mutual crush, so you can do it, no matter who you are.
I definitely think this is probably a 2 and done for me, though. It's like I've got my life partner that I live with and will be raising a family with, and then this other person that I talk to on the phone and send messages and have fun vacations with, and is perfect in every single way, and that's a nice balance. You know what I mean?
That makes me happy. I'm glad to hear that.
It's been a whole fucking thing. The reason why I was tentative was because we had to work things out with our respective partners. That's why I did not just yell about. That's why I didn't just. Well, we thought we had, and then you know how sometimes people. Well, sometimes things are more complicated than you think they're going to be. Yeah, so that's why I couldn't just yell about this a month ago. It was all completely fine. It just required some conversation and some logistics, basically. And y'all know it's just one thing I love. It's logistics. So,
yes.
Oh yeah, speaking of logistics, I now remember that whole thing where I wanted to drive the big truck and then I got sad because I couldn't drive anymore because I fucked it up. Well, now I'm driving the truck every Saturday.
Nice.
Oh yay!
Which is very exciting. Well, not every Saturday if I want to. It's just purely optional. They need extra hands, and if I'm available, I can do it. And I want to do it because it's fun and I need to practice and it's extra money. So now this has been a pain in the ass for. Actually, it hasn't been that much of a pain in the ass for y'all, actually, I suppose. Instead of doing a double shift Monday and Friday, I now do a double shift Monday and Wednesday. I can't do a double shift Friday because I don't work at all Friday, because how can I drive a car on Saturday if I'm up until 4 a.m. on Friday? So I don't work at all on Friday. So if we ever had to do like a Friday podcast recording or something, I totally could. Whereas before, that was like totally off the table, right? If I recall, someone isn't available Friday, so that's not like an option anyway. I think it's Sam. Is it Sam?
I think so.
I think it's Sam. But anyway, just, you know, that's why I sent all those messages like, hey, what if we switched the day? Could we do Wednesday? Could we do Friday? That was because of this shit, right? But yeah, man, it's like, I got this extra girlfriend that's super hot. I'm driving the truck. Life is good.
Cool.
I watched a movie that was mid.
You watched a movie that was mid?
I'm talking about First SMT.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. I watched a movie that was not mid. It was probably one of the best movies I've ever seen. I watched RRR on the big screen. And yeah, everyone is right to be freaking out about it.
I've heard it's so good.
Hollywood sucks.
I have somehow not heard a single thing about this movie.
It is a big, huge, ridiculous action adventure movie about two Indian revolutionaries in the 1920s just fucking owning the British.
Oh, that sounds so good.
It is. It's so good. I have a lot to say about it, but
Britain.
Yes. Also, I applied to a dream job. I'm not going to say what it is, but I applied to a dream job, and I really want to hear back about it, see if I get an interview. Yeah. I'm really
all y'all
on edge constantly.
Because as someone who has read the job description and also looked over Bernard's cover letter, I gotta say, not only does it look like a dream job, Bernard is the perfect candidate. Like, obviously I'm biased because I'm Bernard's bud, but like, no, like they need to hire Bernard. No one is going to do a better job. The problem is they don't know that.
Yes.
So just cross your fingers that whatever hiring manager reads Bernard's cover letter is able to see what is very, very clearly true, which is that Bernard would be the perfect person for this job, and that they get him in that interview room and that he gives him a good interview because, like, oh man, like it's the perfect synergy of skill set and interests and all that shit.
Yeah, it was really weird seeing I saw the job listing. I wasn't even looking for job listings. I saw it on Twitter randomly. And I was like, that doesn't sound like something I would be qualified for. But I clicked on it anyway. I looked at the requirements and I was like, oh, I do meet the qualifications for this, actually.
Oh, speaking of which, I know this is random, but I gotta say it. Fun fact, speaking of qualifications for jobs, I think it's called the FAA. Is that like the airline like traffic controller?
Yeah, FAA.
Yeah. FAA is hiring right now, and you might think, what does that have to do with me? It's just interesting. Someone posted it. If you ever thought about being an air traffic controller, check it out, because here's the cool thing about this job. It has like no requirements. And you might think, but isn't that a very high skill job? Yeah, but where else are you going to get those skills? What other job is going to prepare you for that job? So, like, literally, it's like you need a couple years of experience having a job or going to college just in general to prove that, like, you're an adult who has their shit together. Also, you have to be under the age of 30.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah,
I just fit that requirement.
Yeah, it's just funny, and it pays insane, for the record. It pays, like, easy six figures. And also,
they're job.
And also, they're in a very strong union, for the record. Very, very, very good, strong union. So, it's funny to think of that very important, high-skill job being no requirements, but it's like, oh yeah, like, how could there be? Like, hey, have you been a air traffic controller before? No, you haven't, idiot. Every single thing you need to learn to do the job, you presumably learn during the training program.
You say this, and yet how many job applications are there like, oh, hey, this is an entry-level job. We'd like you to have 10 years of experience in this field.
No, I totally. But of course, that's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. I'm really mad that I don't live anywhere near an airport, because that job sounds great.
Yeah, anyone out there wants to take a rank and file union job in a very strategic sector that pays good as shit, and I'm sure it's a very stressful, difficult job. I would imagine you wouldn't want to accidentally pull a Breaking Bad, but I'm telling everyone I know this because it's very fascinating, and I'm like, fuck, I almost want to do it, right? I'm not gonna.
That's information to share.
I just turned 30. But yeah, take a look if you want.
There are very few situations in which you want to pull a Breaking Bad in any sense.
That's true.
I haven't seen Breaking Bad, so I don't know what you're referring to, and I don't know if I want to.
There is a very minor but very important plot event involving an air traffic controller.
Yes.
Not being good at his job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Are we ready to talk about Persona 2, or is there anything
absolutely.
else?
Yeah, no, let's fucking go for it. This game...
I have a lot to say this week.
Yeah, well, I don't know if me too, but yes, it was I'm excited about this game.
Yes. So before we start, I want to point out that today is the anniversary of the release of Persona 2 Eternal Punishment, the original version, which is a wild coincidence, especially because, if I remember correctly, we recorded the first episode of Innocent Sin on the anniversary of the PSP release of that game. So,
and what's especially funny is that we just did these two things. We played the game in order, but we hit the anniversaries in reverse order.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of freaking me out.
Yeah, I don't like it. I honestly, given the nature of these games, I feel like it might. Like,
the nature of these games and how, I was gonna say, and how in this game the curse that we're dealing with is so much worse.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried that we've been marked for death by some kind of demonic being, is all I'm saying, but whatever. Who you know what? We had a good run. Fuck it. We're playing the Persona game.
No. All right. So, we start up Persona 2 Eternal Punishment. We see Totino's DiGiorno in a new all-red outfit, thinking. We see a flash of his chance meeting with Maya at the train station. Then we see flashes of the past game's events. Joker, Zabalba, Maya's death. Totino's opens his eyes. We see him staring at Elia's shrine. An old woman walks up and says some cryptic weird nonsense. Totino's walks away. He stops and says, with a voice. I mean, the line isn't voiced, but I mean, he talks.
He's not a protagonist anymore, yeah.
He says, "That's right. I remember now. A sin that must not exist. How do I atone?" Now we see a mysterious conference room with people standing in 2 lines in front of some sort of shrine altar thing. A mysterious old man, who the UI calls Mysterious Old Man, walks to the center of the room and says, "We will now begin the ritual of Kotodama. Well then, Gozen, please proceed." Everyone bows and claps their hands. Now we see the offices of Kismet Publishing. Maya walks in and Yukino hands her a letter which arrived for her with no return address. The UI introduces Maya as Maya Amino, editor of Kismet Publishing's teen magazine Coolest, the game's main character. Maya steps away and reads the letter. It says, "You're next, Joker." This seems bad. Another reporter tells Maya the chief wants to speak to her. The other reporter sort of talks about how he sucks and stuff, and Maya just put the hand on his shoulder, and at this point you're like, interesting, Maya hasn't said anything.
Mm-hmm.
So Maya heads to the chief's office. The UI introduces the chief as Editor-in-Chief Mizuno, coolest editor-in-chief who hates Maya, an experienced woman who goes by the book, 30-something and still not married.
Can you imagine being 30 and not married? It's possibly the lamest thing you can. I can't. Man, I would just. I would die if that happened to me.
This game was certainly not made by millennials.
Yep. I'm imagining the Zoomer version of this where it's like 50-something and still not married.
Mizuno tells Maya her last story sucked and she better get on the Joker case. There's been a string of bizarre murders, and rumor among the kids is that the Joker is behind it. It's funny because she says the Joker instead of just Joker. And when you say just Joker, it's like, yeah, that can be Joker from Persona, or Joker from the other Persona, or Joker from Mass Effect. No, but if it's the Joker, it's Batman guy.
Look, the previous game had Hitler in it. This one's got the Joker in it. It's the same thing. They're doing the same bit where it's like, if you said a rumor enough, it's true. But now the rumor is just that the Joker is real.
Joker real. Mizuno tells Maya to get to Seven Sisters High to investigate the rumors. However, Mizuno is taking Yukino off the case, so Maya will be on her own. Also, Mizuno denies Maya the time off she had requested for today.
Awful.
Evil.
Terrible.
I hate her. First, she's not married, then this.
This was also, written back in the 90s before the recent wave of newsroom union drives.
Maya leaves Mizuno's office, and Yukino tells her that someone named Serizawa called and said she'd meet Maya in the reception area. The UI introduces Yukino as Yuki Mayuzumi, Maya's ex-partner and apprentice.
Yay.
Yes.
Ex-partner, yeah.
She's not really an employee at Kismet, but an assistant photographer hired by Fuji, who we might remember is her boyfriend-ish guy from the previous game.
Oh, yeah. 1099 shit.
What?
You mean the forgettable guy who died without any impact on the audience?
Oh, no. I'm saying the fact that they could Oh wait, I'm sorry. I thought they took Maya's Zoom. Anyway, I'm saying that she's got an even worse situation than Maya because she's a freelancer.
Okay. Maya has to talk to everyone here before Yukino lets her go downstairs. We get some interesting information. The murder spree is in the double digits, and apparently they are particularly gruesome. One co-worker says, all this fuss about Armageddon and Grand Cross, and nothing happened this summer. The more hype, the more people complain. So that's interesting.
I don't know what that's a reference to. You know, there's just nothing, no context we'd have this early in the game to know what that's about.
Yeah, the years 2000 we're playing this game, that's just a weird non sequitur. We also hear about some Wong Long guardian dragon fortune-telling fad thing. It will probably be important later.
Can we not talk about... can we not say the name of it again, please?
Oh, that never occurred to me. Amazingly. Anyway, Maya talks to Yukino, who is pissed about Mizuno denying Maya's time off and splitting them up. She says she'll, quote, straighten that bitch out, unquote. And Maya is like, it's okay. Please do not assault my boss. This isn't a dialogue selection option where both of them are just sort of like, it's okay. Maya, to be clear, has not spoken. Yukino suddenly develops a lisp and says, if you're going over to 7th, let me call up one of my old teachers. She'll be able to help you out. One thing to note about this game is that the localization is a lot rougher than...
yeah.
It's so rough.
It's a 2000-S localization. Also, it's a sequel to the very weirdly localized Revelations Persona, which is going to cause some interesting stuff that we'll see soon.
Yeah. So just, again, remember, this is... We're playing a sequel, but we are, in fact, moving backwards in time. So this game is a lot cruder than the remake of the previous game that we just played for a variety of reasons.
Yeah. Like, oh my god, when I was doing the first dungeon and I realized there's no mini-map constantly on screen, I cried.
Well, I love that shit. But yes, I do agree in principle.
Maya also talks to Fuji, who is also there. He doesn't say much. The UI introduces him as Shunsuke Fuji, a freelance photographer. He's also Yuki's highly respected boss. He calls Yuki, Yuki, and Maya, Maki, which is an interesting nickname. Maya heads downstairs and meets up with her friend Ulala, who briefly appeared in the last game.
I loved her when she did.
Yes, she's great. The UI introduces her as Ulala Serizawa, Maya's friend who sells lingerie, a ceramic girl infatuated with fortunes. Her bad luck with men has given her a complex. So, is ceramic girl a turn of phrase I'm not familiar with? Or does anyone have an idea of what that might have been in the Japanese? Or...
I was going to ask y'all if y'all had any idea what it meant.
I'm going to ask Dr. Google real quick.
Okay. I'll continue on. Feel free to interrupt if you find anything. When Maya says she can't go to the party with Ulala because of work, Ulala accuses her of lying because she's still thinking about the, quote, deja vu boy, unquote, she bumped into at the train station. Once Maya convinces her that she really has to go to Sevens to investigate, Ulala insists on coming along so she can speed up the work and get them both to the party. And I'm like, this isn't like physical labor carrying something from one place to another. This is interviewing people and like I don't know. It doesn't really seem like the work you can really speed up by having your friend there.
So, really quick, what I'm immediately getting is there's a song called Ceramic Girl?
Is it a Japanese song?
No. It's about romance, though.
Perhaps.
I don't know.
Who can say?
Who knows? I mean, either, maybe it was a localizer doing a correct translation of something and not localizing it to make sense to us non-Japanese folk, or it was them literally just translating a word in a dumb way, and it just doesn't even work at all. Who knows? Could be either.
Yeah. So Maya and Ulala arrive at the faculty room in Sevens. Miss Sayako is speaking with two detectives. We recognize one of them as Totino's brother. The other detective says, "So, Anna Yoshizaka started to behave like a delinquent after the hit and run by Kaneda?" Miss Sayako says not to put words in her mouth. Anna could never kill anyone. After a few more text boxes, the other detective leaves. Miss Sayako stops Totino's brother and asks if Totino's has come home yet. He says, "No, he hasn't. What the hell does he think he's doing?" The UI introduces this man as Katsuya Suo, young detective of the Konan PD. His current rank is sergeant. He has a little brother named Totino's. It would be really confusing if Totino's was named something that sounded exactly the same as Katsuya, but luckily, he's named Totino's.
Yeah. I gotta say, no, you go first.
I was gonna say, he did, so this character did appear in the first game in an optional cutscene if you went to the police department, where you got to learn a little bit more about Totino's personal life.
Yeah, and I believe he was often on the world map in the region that had the police department, and you could talk to him there.
I was really hoping, I'm really sad that Totino's is not the main character again, because I was really looking forward to I had a really good new name picked out for him. I was going to name him Dragon Quest Final Fantasy.
I don't think that would have fit.
Well, I was going to abbreviate it, but yeah, it turns out I didn't get to, so it's a damn shame.
I was happy that you don't get to name Maya, because I would have wanted to leave it as Maya, because she's Maya. I know her already.
Oh,
but also, I would have wanted to give her a stupid name.
I absolutely would have. But yeah, no, it's probably for the best.
Totina's DiGiorno. Anyway, Katsuya leaves. Maya and Ulala talk to Miss Sayako, who says Yukino called ahead, telling her they would show up. The game introduces Miss Sayako as Sayako Smith, teacher of Class 3B. She is very liberal-minded, and she was hired for her policy on freedom. What does that mean?
Oh, God.
Know.
Teaching the kids critical race theory. God damn it.
I'm going to throw something at you, Maddie.
In the text boxes, she has been labeled as Miss Smith, but they've snuck in here her actual name of Sayako, because presumably in the first game, because if you'll remember, she's from St. Hermelin High, presumably in the first game, she was just Miss Smith, because that game was localized to make everything really Western.
Had a real Ace Attorney style localization.
Yeah, except the Ace Attorney localization is amazing.
Oh, no, yeah, that's like the best example of that kind of thing.
Yeah, like, in some objective sense, it was the quote-unquote wrong choice, and I know if those games were being localized for the first time now, it wouldn't be done that way, but I love it. I think it's fun. It's very silly.
100% agreed. As an absolutely huge and rabid Ace Attorney fan, I'm a Ace Attorney fan. I'm not a Gyakuten Saiban fan. The way that series was localized, it makes it almost as distinct from its original version as Power Rangers is from Super Sentai.
Mm-hmm.
That is not a bad analogy at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So Miss Sayako Smith says the students are still shaken up after a man hit a student with his car, then died. And apparently it's connected to the bizarre murders. She also mentions that the Joker is all the kids talk about these days. The rumor is that he'll kill whomever you like if you contact him by calling your own cell phone. So it's like the last game, except worse.
Yep. Also, we keep making jokes about how, man, this game would not be made, it would be different today. Honestly, the Joker is all the kids talk about these days. That has not changed.
Fuck you.
No.
Don't be mad at me. Be mad at Don't blame me. Blame yourself or God.
Can I blame DC Comics? I like blaming them as a DC Comics fan.
Right. So an interesting thing is that Kashihara is here in the faculty room and alive to boot. When Maya talks to him, he says he's a fan of Kismet's Occult magazine. The UI introduces him as Akinari Kashihara, world history teacher for seniors. Though strange, he is a kind teacher. He says, I used to write books like UFO Discovered Underneath City, but now I like to enjoy them as entertainment. I think it's a little weird to abandon your belief in bizarre conspiracy theories, then still enjoy them as light entertainment, but okay.
It's weird. I still think it's cute, though.
Maya gets down to talking to students. One summarizes the Joker rumor thus. They say the Joker is the serial killer from 10 years back, and he brought demons with him. Maya also hears that a girl named Lisa is making her debut soon in a group called Muses. Eventually, Maya and Ulala head to the courtyard, where they find Principal Hanya berating Anna. Except the UI introduces him as Principal Harding, the new principal from St. Hermelin High. There, he was hated and known as Hardy. Here, he is also hated.
I love that bit of narration of just like, without
good.
The rumors thing and all the plots of the last game in this timeline, no, everyone still hates him.
Yes, I love it. Also, since he was in Persona 1, he has an anglicized name. So, Principal Hanyarding accuses Anna of killing the man who hit her with his car. A girl named Noriko, who I believe appeared in Innocent Sin in that one scene, but she didn't have a portrait then, defends Anna.
Yeah, she did appear in that, yeah.
Yeah, it was Noriko?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
Cool. So the principal continues. I was going to keep calling him Hanyarding, but that's it feels weird to say, so I'm just going to call him the principal.
Tanya Hanyarding.
Anyway, Noriko defends Anna, says she couldn't kill anybody. Principal says, how do we know that? I let you slip because you were an all-star, but you're useless if you can't run. I'm waiting for you to quit school. You can quit along with your friend DiGiorno. He leaves. Ulala is pissed about what she just witnessed and tries to talk to Anna. Anna just leaves, but as she passes, Maya hears her mutter, I'm gonna kill him. A great thing to mutter aloud when you're suspected of murder. I get it. That's like a normal thing to mutter if you're really angry at someone. And you don't mean it, but when you're suspected of murder, maybe you shouldn't utter that.
Again, it doesn't hold up. If this was made today, he would have said, in Minecraft.
In Minecraft. I'm gonna kill him. Parody.
Parody, non-actionable.
Ulala insists they go to the principal's office so she can give him a piece of her mind. Before leaving the courtyard, Maya can talk to someone next to the Naruto stone, whom the UI introduces as Maya Okamura, world history teacher of Class 2C, who also has the first name Maya. I sense that I've met her somewhere.
It's almost like she stabbed us last podcast episode.
Also, interesting thing is that apparently these narrations introducing people are from Maya's perspective. So that means Maya called herself the main character of the game.
I had not considered that.
That is okay, but that is extremely in character for Maya.
Exactly. You know what? First of all, she would think of herself as the main character. And second of all, she's right. She is the main character. I bet she was telling herself that in the previous game, and she was right to do so. She was like, yeah, I'm whichever bad guy is in any particular cutscene is like, oh, Totino DiGiorno, I can't believe you thwarted my plan. She's like, okay, I guess he helped. I'm the main character.
Anyway, Okamura also is like, hey, haven't we met before? But they don't speak further. Maya and Ulala enter the principal's office to talk to him and find the principal's mangled corpse.
Oh no.
Katsuya walks in shortly after to ask the principal something, but he sees the principal's mangled corpse. He rushes over to investigate. He says, the note he's holding, that pattern of killing, it's him. Katsuya pelts him. The Joker.
Until the Joker shows up, it's just the Joker to me.
Yeah, but then the Joker shows up, and it's quite an entrance. Anyway, Katsuya pelts Maya and Ulala with questions. Before they can answer, Anna enters the room. When she sees the scene, she very unsuspiciously says, it's not me. I didn't do anything. I believe her, but not great to just say that before anyone asks.
Yeah, it's like, I definitely didn't murder the principal. My I didn't murder the principal shirt is, and bring up a lot of questions, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes. Anna runs off. Katsuya rushes after her. Maya and Ulala follow because they don't want to hang out with a dead body. In the hallway, Katsuya, Maya, and Ulala are cut off by a monster. Ulala's like, what the fuck? A voice says, can't you tell? It's a demon. A demon. Really freaky music starts playing, and a man with a blood-stained bag on his head walks up. Oh, he's wearing a trench coat and holding a sword.
Let's go.
The description, he's bloody and he has a bloody bag on his head. It sounds silly and comical. This guy's sprite genuinely unnerves me.
It's scary.
It's fucked up.
Yes, and the music that plays in this scene, they just really sell him immediately. Joker says, you got the letter, right? It's me, Joker. I took a request, so I'm here to kill you. That's what the rumors say. Maya Amano, I know you very well. What you even did on the other side. Joker summons another demon and says, try and call your precious persona. If you don't, these guys'll eat ya. He throws 2 guns at Maya's feet and tells her to use them. Katsuya tells Joker he's under arrest for illegal possession of firearms. Joker just tells them to summon their personas. One of the demons attacks Katsuya. A persona pops out of him and attacks the demon. Unfazed, the demon turns to attack Ulala. A persona pops out of her and attacks the demon. Finally, Maya's persona emerges and deals the killing blow to the demon. Joker laughs and tells them to keep it up. He's not going to kill them here. He'll have the demons kill them slowly. He tells them they can't run from fate and blasts them with a spell. The gang awakens in Philemon's space gazebo. The faint figure of Philemon appears in the center and says he granted them personas. The UI introduces him as Philemon, ruler over the ego, revealer of truth, and creator of all unconscious actions. It seems he has weakened for some reason. Philemon explains to the gang that what personas are, but he starts to fade. They can only catch part of what he says next. I have something to ask of you. I underestimated their string of misfortune was too deep. They made tears of blood. This side. Only you can save. Warning. Rumors will become reality. Light within hearts of people. The gang awakens back in Sevens. Katsuya calls for backup, then tells Maya and Ulala to stick with him for their safety while he looks for Anna. Ulala says the baghead guy's the killer, but Katsuya says, if it's just like he said, it's a contract killing. I can't exclude her possible involvement. Katsuya lets Maya keep her guns. Ulala is fine because she can box, and fists are as effective as guns.
That's right.
The gang apparently decides to check the clock tower at some point.
Yeah, there's not honestly. It's like it's a symmetry to the first game, but it doesn't. The in-character reason for it doesn't just. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like someone decided. It feels like a writer decided they needed to go to the clock tower.
Yeah, I mean, you could have just had them say like. She probably wouldn't have gone to one of the classrooms. She'd probably go somewhere else. Maybe we should check the clock tower.
Everyone knows when you're trying to get away from someone, you should go up.
Exactly.
Up to the top of the building, so you can get away.
I mean, in the first game, Principal Hanya got away through the clock tower and survived. He was fine.
Did he ever show up again, though?
Yes, he did. When you, I actually only know this from the movie version of Innocent Sin. In Xibalba, you can find a teleporter that transports you back up and you out of Xibalba, and you find yourself in the school. And if you go around the school at this point, Principal Hanya is there, and he's being like some real badass standing up to the last battalion and stuff, and it's weird.
Okay, then.
So yeah, he's fine.
Well, now we know.
So anyway, in another symmetry to the first game, the janitor has lost his key to the clock tower, so they go to the faculty lounge to get the spare key. If we talk to Kashihara while we're here, he says, I can't believe the principal was killed. Could it be the last battalion? No, that can't be. So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, when they enter the clock tower, they see Joker and Anna on the catwalk. Joker says he's here for her, but she says she never did the Joker curse. Joker says, no need to worry. You'll understand me and the other side. If you do, you'll realize that this side is the evil side. I won't hurt you. Let's go. Katsuya hollers at Joker. Joker hollers back and summons demons for us to fight. After the fight, we see Anna collapsed on the catwalk in front of Joker. He tells the gang to sleep for a bit and hits them with a spell. The gang passes out. The screen goes black. On the black screen, Joker says, "You're..." And we hear some slashing, clashing, bashing. We see Anna now passed out alongside the gang on the lower floor of the clock tower. Totino's is there looking over them. Maya wakes up and the UI introduces Totino's as Deja Vu Boy, a young man acting older. He ran into me. For some strange reason, I feel I know him from long ago. Totino's tosses Maya a Sevens emblem and tells her to go to the Kuzunoha Detective Agency and spread a rumor that she'll be safe with the emblem, even from him. Totino's turns to leave, but says, And lastly, do not involve yourself in this. Forget everything. Totino's leaves and the scene cuts to later, with the police investigating the crime scene. The UI introduces us to Captain Shimazu. He is in charge of the bizarre serial murder case division, which I just realized apparently they have a whole division.
I thought the same thing.
For bizarre serial murder cases.
Once again, the translation here is not good.
How many of those do y'all have?
I mean, I would expect it to be like a team formed specifically for this, but apparently they have enough bizarre serial murder cases to have a whole division for it.
I mean, they do live in Persona universe where there's all kinds of crazy demons and magic shit happening, so, you know, I mean, given how quickly a murder happened in this game, maybe it's just a very murder-heavy part of, just very murder-heavy time in this part of Japan.
Perhaps. They refer to Joker as the old maid. Katsuya says he sent Anna to the police hospital. I believe he says police hospital, and I'm like, what? Is that a thing?
That's a thing.
It is? Okay. Okay. And ask Shimazu. I didn't know if it was just another weird
I might say
thing.
It might be more commonly called like a clinic or something. But yeah. I mean, it's not uncommon for not just police, but it's not uncommon to have specific medical centers for, like, well, the only two examples I can think of are police and unions. But yeah, those are two examples I can think of that do sometimes have medical centers.
Okay, makes sense. Anyway, Katsuya asks Shimazu to put some guards on Anna since the old maid is after her. Shimazu tells Katsuya to report on his encounter with Joker. After he does so, Shimazu removes him from the case. He says he had heard Katsuya was a superior detective, but it's a shame. As Katsuya walks away, Shimazu says, "Like father, like son, huh?" Katsuya meets up with Maya and Ulala down the hall. He tells them he's set on arresting Joker, despite being taken off the case. The gang agrees to go to the detective agency and spread the anti-Joker rumor, since they don't have much else to go on. And that's where we're stopping for the week.
They should just spread a rumor that, like, anytime anything happens, they should just be like, if there's any kind of villain, you know, they should just spread a rumor that's just like, no, there isn't.
Did y'all hear this crazy rumor? There's not a Joker?
No such thing as Joker.
Did you hear this crazy rumor that there's nothing bad going on? Everything's okay?
No, there's no murders. No one's been murdered in the last week. Isn't that crazy? The principal, totally fine.
Did you hear this rumor that the principal's a nice guy and no one would want to murder him? And in fact, he didn't get murdered.
Did you hear this rumor that, like demons aren't real? Magic? No, sir.
Magic is fake.
Magic's fake, actually. And also, there's no such thing as personas.
Honestly, we're joking around, but if they wanted to, they could start a rumor of, like, oh yeah, the principal, he faked his death, actually. The real him is actually hiding out, like, in this club or something.
In Argentina.
The thing about the rumors is you can't create a rumor that nothing happened or that
right, because it already did happen.
You can't make a boring rumor that isn't interesting because it's not going to spread. You have to make a rumor that's more fantastical than the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was thinking that. I was like, I mean, we all know the real reason you can't make a rumor that nothing interesting is going on because that's not how rumors work, right? But yeah, you just got to be clever about it, you know? Like, yeah. Oh, here's a rumor. That guy Totino's DiGiorno, he's actually a superhero and has crazy powers that can allow him to instantly kill any bad guy.
I hear that Totino's DiGiorno is more powerful than the Joker.
That's right. I heard that the Joker's actually just misunderstood and is a really great guy and decided to not be noticed anymore.
I hear Totinus DiGiorno is a secret billionaire who is also a martial arts master and excellent detective, and he'd be perfect for taking on the Joker.
That's right.
Anyway, let's move on to memorable moments.
I'm mostly positive on the game off this first week, with a couple setbacks. But to start off on the good stuff, I really enjoy Ulala. I think what we've had of her so far, she's a very fun character to have as a party member. I feel like I'm definitely gonna have a good time with her in the party. I think it's interesting that, as far as I can tell, this is going to be a party of all adults as opposed to teenagers, which is both what we had last game and is kind of the Persona standard. Last time it was like a mix of teenagers and adults, which in the end leaned more towards teenagers heavily. But this time it feels like it's definitely swung the other way around. I think that's really fascinating. And then with that, the much darker tone and the much more grisly and gruesome things that are happening. It's an interesting story beat. I like the idea that it seems like whatever we tried didn't work, and in fact, the bigger bad behind everything has just been able to use the timey-wimey shenanigans to fuck over Philemon and make everything worse. I really like that both of our party members are people who showed up briefly last game, and we got hints about them and that there was more to them, and now we get to explore that depth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I thought you were done. Go on.
Oh, so I was just saying, just a lot to like. Like we said, the translation's not very good. I'm not exactly, as much as I think it's cool, the idea of having the protag from the first game's brother here. There's a quality I won't name about the guy that makes me less interested in having him around. And then also, I don't know how I keep finding these weird queer scenes in these games. So going around talking to everyone, there's a point where you can find a dude who's talking to a friend about the fact that he's got a crush on Noriko.
Oh, yes.
But his friend's like, okay, but dude, she's only interested in Anna. You know that, right? And you can then talk to them and actually get different dialogue, which is rare for these kind of conversations between two characters. Usually there's just the one exchange. And the dude who's into Noriko is like, okay, well, we don't know that for sure. And even if she does, that doesn't mean she doesn't also like men, which I immediately was like, well, you have to give both the guy and the game credit for that, because, like, yeah, just because someone likes the same gender does not mean they don't also like the opposite gender or etc. Like, that is reductive. And then the other guy says, I'm going to quote directly because I screenshotted this bullshit. A woman's heart has no reasoning. Respect, love, and friendship all mean the same. All you do is change the wording. Which, what the
I'm always saying this.
It's a very strange line.
It's a very... Okay, if you want to interpret it as the fact that, like, respect and love and friendship can all be synonyms and can all describe the same kind of stuff. Absolutely, yes. There is some deep thing there. But it's a woman's heart has no reasoning is the first part of it. Which makes it seem like what he's really saying is that to a woman, respecting someone and loving them, having their friend, it's all kind of muddled, and only the words for it will change.
Yeah, no, they're saying like bitches are dumb and don't know the difference between friendship versus admiration versus romantic versus sexual love versus wanting to be with someone versus wanting to be with them, which is not true unless you're talking about lesbians, in which case, yes, it is.
It just sounds like they're saying women are too stupid to not be gay.
Yeah. Again.
I mean, that's true in regards to me, but come on.
Like, look, are you being misogynist? Yes. Is anything you said technically incorrect?
A woman's heart has no reason. A man's heart has no reason either.
I guess I like the implication because I did get that sense last game that Noriko had a big gay crush on Anna, and I like the implication. Like, no, that is definitely an intentional thing. But yeah, this conversation just rubbed me the wrong way.
It's just like, man, the whole Persona series, they're just like, what weirds me out about it, and you see this all the way up to like Persona 5, it's like characters throwing these things out there that they come off as weird because it's very clearly someone just saying like a bit of received wisdom in a sense. And it's like, yeah, a lot of people do think that. A lot of people do think that like women are dumb and need to be told what they want, that their heart is fundamentally flighty, fickle, and that basically they can't make rational, wise decisions, and that men need to basically rein in the women from their dumb emotional ways. Like, that's a very common belief in our society. But no one just straight up says it like that, right? It is because they don't say it, they just believe it internally and it comes out, right? So to have people just be like, yeah, man, it's like I'm always saying, women with their damn fickle hearts can't be trusted to make good decisions and don't even know when they are or aren't in love with them. So you just, the man just has to take control and make sure that they understand it. And don't even get me started on the lesbians. Like, if someone said that in real life, even if it was someone who you already knew had those beliefs, you would just be like, that's a weird thing to say, man.
Yeah.
And then run it through the translation of this game and change the localization. But I feel like it goes to the original script, though, probably. Not to
considering how frequently this pops up no matter who's translating these games.
It's a thing in the Persona series. Yeah, it's a weird... It's not that it's weird that writers just put, like, their...
soliloquies of opinions.
That's very common. Lots of games do it, but the Persona games just do it in a particularly ham-fisted way that just always comes off as very odd and clunky.
Yeah, my only other note is I really like that Ulala calls Maya, she always puts a hyphen in her name, which I'm imagining the way she's saying it is she's saying like, Maya, which fits a very bubbly personality.
Yeah, she said it all cutesy. I wanted to briefly mention the graphics in this game because it's the only thing I care about. Wow, I'm really surprised at how almost the same as the PSP version of the previous game it looks. I mean, it doesn't literally look the same, but like, I was expecting a much bigger gap between the Fancy Pants remake of the previous game and the OG PSX version of this. Like, man, it looks good as hell. It looks good as hell. And I would say arguably looks better. You know why? Because it's on the PSX. And you know what that means? It means that the 3D environments are constantly flickering and have weird seams where you can see through them. And that's awesome. And I love it.
One thing that I do not love about the visual presentation of this game is that now you have camera angle shifts during cutscenes. Where basically the camera just instantly rotates to a new angle, and it's jarring, and I hate it.
You know what? I didn't really think about the fact that they didn't do that before.
Yeah, that wasn't in Innocent Sin. Maybe it was in the PSX version of Innocent Sin, and they reblocked things for the PSP version. I don't know.
I did notice it in this game. But it's such a common thing in games of this graphical style that I hadn't noticed its absence. Huh.
I immediately was like, whoa, that didn't happen before.
Yeah, I mean, it's very
GDQ
common.
week, so that's never happened before.
Yeah, I mean, that's very common in your Breath of Fire 4s, your Xenogears, your Dragon Quest 7s. It's very common in those games, so, huh. Maybe they realized it was like kind of weirdly disorienting, so they stopped doing it, or they wanted to give it more of a old school feel, I guess, instead of the like trying to be cutting edge cinematic type feel. I don't know. Yeah, one thing that is also
in Persona 1, they did have angles change during cutscenes, but the camera would rotate. It wouldn't just snap instantly to a new position.
So I'm guessing
maybe
that's why I didn't notice.
I'm guessing probably in the PSP version they added the animation of the camera rotating.
That makes sense. Yeah. But again, it was just so subtle. I just didn't. It just was totally normalized in my brain. Yeah. For this, it is odd. But I what was I going to say? Son of a gun. There was something else about this whole thing. Well, whatever. Who cares? Yeah. It's. I actually like it, but I didn't think of it as being like this is an archaic thing they got rid of. I thought of it as like, ooh, this is an interesting choice. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it probably is the latter now that you mentioned it. Like, that's probably what it is. It probably is like they just didn't think about it, and then later they added some technical improvements.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess you just talked about how good the graphics are when it's the same as the previous game. The music is so good, and the music in the previous game was so good, but the music in this game is so good too. I believe some of the tracks are reused, but there were some new tracks, really good. I already mentioned the music when Joker shows up for the first time really helps sell how, this Joker is a much freakier, very different from the weird Harlequin magic man that showed up last game. This is a fucked up serial killer.
I would honestly just say this is a more interestingly presented Joker as well, because for all his theatrics in the first game, they kind of oversold him. And this one, there's a lot more negative space around the character, if that makes sense.
Oh, big agree, yeah. I mean, in the first one, before anything has even happened in the game, Joker's giving all these weird monologues that had us being like, oh, he's going to become a protagonist later. You know? Or like other hypotheses, right? Just being like, oh, what's going on here? This guy, how many lines of dialogue does he even have? Like,
not a lot, and they're very off-putting.
He mostly just shows up and is scary, and it's like, yeah, there we go, right? Like that's what I'm talking about. Also, speaking of which, can you imagine playing this game and not having played the previous one?
I was thinking the whole time, like I was thinking, what would it be like playing this game in 2000 when Innocent Sin had never been localized and you probably didn't even know it existed? You probably just went to Babbage's and saw Persona 2 Eternal Punishment and was like, that's a cool box art, so you pick it up. And
I kind of get the marketing, like, business decision of like, oh man, we were going to localize this game, but like, I don't know, we didn't. And now the next game's already out and, you know, that one's really blowing up. So maybe we should localize. Okay, missing the boat on the first game, especially if the series wasn't like very big or anything. I get that, right? Like that happened to Final Fantasy, you know, Final Fantasies 2 and 3 didn't get localized. Because it was so late that it was like, well, let's just do FF. Like no one's into the NES anymore. Let's just do the Super NES, like FF4, you know. But I feel like when someone was like, "Hey, what if we localized Persona 2 Part 2?" I feel like someone would have just been like, "No, why? That's a stupid idea. We already missed the boat on Part 1. Let's just, you know, take the L and not bother with this, because why on earth would anyone want to play this game?"
I feel like it would be, my only thought that could maybe justify it is JRPGs often feel kind of weird and confusing when you're first starting it, and it feels like, okay, well, this will be explained to me later. So maybe someone who just played this and hadn't played the first one would just be like, well, sure, they'll explain this later.
I mean, the first game had lots of stuff at the beginning where it's like, I guess I'll explain that later. So, yeah. The first game was exactly like that.
And I guess in this game it is like, most of this stuff is confusing, not in what's happening, but like, you know, you're just going to be missing out on like what's so fascinating about this game is that it feels like it hits the ground running so much more than the previous game, because right off the bat, you're constantly like trying to figure out what the fuck is going on vis-a-vis the previous game. right? And without that, yeah, maybe it wouldn't be confusing in the what the fuck kind of way, but confusing in the normal, like, yeah, JRPGs, they throw a bunch of shit out there at the beginning and you figure it out later kind of way. But I can't put myself in that headspace.
Indeed.
I guess you would just be like, hey, it's some guy named Totino's Giorno, you know, instead of like, wait, what the fuck? Why is Totino's Giorno having lines of dialogue? What the hell is going on? Hell, maybe it's more confusing for us, but like confusing in the good way where it's a mystery to be solved.
Yeah,
instead of confusing in the who the fuck knows, man.
Yeah, I mean, there are some franchises where I jumped in, you know, not in the quote unquote, you know, like not where you're supposed to. And sometimes, like, depending on how those things are done, sometimes that's fine. People will make sure you're able to jump in anywhere. And sometimes you're confused and have no idea what's going on. And I feel like this maybe leans a little bit more towards, you could definitely still understand what's going on. You just don't have the emotional investment in some of these characters. But at the same time, aside from Maya, our protagonist, who's now mute, none of these characters had a ton of emotional depth in the first game.
Yeah.
This is the game that's developing them. The characters we're most emotionally invested in are the ones who are, it seems, going to be mostly side characters and cameos.
Yeah, no, that's true. You know what this game reminds me of, actually? Reminds me of Danganronpa 2. Because Danganronpa 2, it's like, it's got this big mystery, but the mystery isn't who's killing people or what's going on. The mystery is, how the fuck does this relate to anything that happened in the previous game?
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
It's like a meta mystery, right? Whereas if you just jumped in, you wouldn't find that mysterious at all because you haven't played the previous game, so you wouldn't get why it makes no fucking sense. So the fact that you have more information allows you to understand that nothing makes any sense.
Crucially, in Danganronpa 2, they go out of their way to have just a couple of blatant connections to Danganronpa 1. So
or apparent connections that are complete red herrings.
Yes, so you're like, so this isn't just a separate story with the same concept. This is connected. This is somehow in the same universe. There's something there. So that's why you're confused. If those weren't there, you'd just be like, I guess this is just, they just wanted to do this cool concept again.
Yeah. So I guess maybe the answer to the question is that maybe your person playing this would not find it that confusing, because almost everything that's confusing about this game is based on extra information that we have. Mm-hmm. The confusion is squaring what we're seeing with what we already know. Whereas if we know nothing, it's just like, all right, cool. Very, very, very cool though. I am definitely finding this game immediately much more, like, right off the bat. You got the evil bad guys having their secret meetings. You got weird shit going on. You got murders in a more blatant way than before. You've got, again, this meta mystery, whatever. It's all dope.
Yeah, I am really enjoying this game so far.
Same. I'm very eager to see where they take things.
Yeah. How do we end episodes even?
We do. Oh my god, we do the whole thing about how you should donate to. You know what? Let's literally get. Let's literally splice in Sam doing it from last time.
Yeah, let's do it.
Here's Sam to bring us all out, and I'm Maddie Grace Webben.
I'm David Bernard Houck,
and I'm Trish.
All right, take it away, Sam.
Yeah, so I think that'll do it for the week. So if you like what you heard here today, you can check us out on the web at www.rpgbook.club, where you can donate to help us keep the lights on. Any and all donations, including the membership tier of $1 a month, gets you access to polls to vote on what we play next, which won't be for a while because we're doing a big ol' honker of a two-parter game. But you can do polls what we play next. You get access to our Book Club no Kaseki series a month before it hits the podcast feed, and you get a cool green name tag in the Discord server. If you up that donation to $5 a month, you not only get all of the above, but we read out your name at the end of the episode. And it sounds a little like shout outs to Cerebral Wind, Anthony Lerma, Vimk, Jfro Prime, Eli Bergmas, Doho, and Tuxedo Ken. And then if you really like us and you want to upgrade to the $20 a month tier, we will not only read your name, but we will plug a URL or whatever of your choosing. And since our luminary is Carr and he is a dentist, he does not have a Twitch stream, so his plug is for your mouth.
God damn it.
And he says that you should brush your teeth twice a day, most importantly, the time right before you go to bed.